answer my question though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, then you upstairs.
You put the hoodie on them, you ready?
Go.
You ready?
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio.
I walk
outside, the sun, darken my glasses.
In the afternoon with Dr. Ken.
I'm good, Dr. Kid. I don't want no problems. I don't want no issues.
Now, he's the mayor.
You gonna
Hey,
be
bro, smoke is smoke.
You gonna beat my ass and then put me in jail.
About things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis.
You gonna beat my ass and then claim assault.
You know, they just heard you on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. Here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Y'all see them strange people over there? Yeah. Strange people looking in the fishbowl in the studio. Yeah. Hey. How are you? Yeah. I would say something, but I can't because it would just come out wrong. I'll have to tell you during the break because, yeah, it won't. I can't whisper it because I'm live on LinkedIn and they'll hear me. They won't hear me, but anyway. 833-212-1017 is the number. All right, so I got a question. Today is June 14th, 2023. How do you feel about Black Lives Matter? Does anybody actually even care about Black Lives Matter? There's a story on CNN that says support for Black Lives Matter movement has dropped since 2020, report says. The Black Lives Matter movement, this is from CNN.com. The Black Lives Matter movement has lost support among Americans in the past 3 years, according to a new study released by the Pew Research Center. Pew found that 51% of Americans say they strongly or somewhat support Black Lives Matter movement. That's down from nearly what percentage? 70%. 70% of Americans who express support for the movement in the aftermath of the 2020 killing of George Floyd, and 56% last year, the center said. The study indicates the decrease is mostly as a result of a declining share of white adults who say they support the movement. The overall number of Black and Hispanic adults who express support have stayed about the same in the past year, according to Pew. Does it matter that white people support Black Lives Matter? Well, this says 81% of Black adults say they support the movement, while 63% of Asian adults and 61% of Hispanics said the same, compared to 42% of white adults, the study shows. So here's my issue with this study. There is a significant difference between the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black Lives Matter organization. I think if you look at how America has been the last 400 some odd years, I think you would agree that there should be support for the Black Lives Matter movement. The organization, I have to personally say not so much. But when asked which words they believe describe the movement, about a third of Americans said the term dangerous, divisive, describes it extremely or very well, the study shows. And so that shows me that whites are confusing the movement with the organization. They go on to say, but there are significant differences among race and ethnic groups. White adults were more likely to say the words dangerous and divisive, describing the Black Lives Matter movement, extremely or very well than other groups. 50% of Black adults say the word dangerous doesn't describe the movement too well or at all well the study shows. Now, Black, Hispanic, and Asian adults are all more likely than whites to say the word empowering describes the movement extremely or very well. This is according to Pew Research Center. But overall, about a third or 34% of the same said the same about the word divisive. So adults younger than 30 were more than likely than those in other age groups to support the movement. And the study also indicates a significant division among what? Political ideology. 84% of Democrats and Democratic leaners support Black Lives Matter movement compared to 82% of Republicans and Republican leaners who said they oppose it, the study shows. I'm interested in knowing, had you asked them, do you support the Black Lives Matter organization, I believe you would have had a completely different outcome in Black, Hispanic, and Asian participants. Americans also expressed their views on the movement, the impact on several issues. The survey shows 32% of adults said the movement has been highly effective at bringing attention to racism against Black people. Smaller shares of U.S. adults said the movement had a similar effect on increasing police accountability, 14%, improving the lives of Black people, 8%, and at improving race relations, 7%. This is all according to the Pew Research Center. My issue, it seems like the only people that got improved were the women who took over the movement from the founder and took in all the money and bought the mansions and spent the money. So what do we ask behind that? What do we discuss behind that? The findings are based on a survey conducted April 10th through the 16th among a randomly selected sample of 5,073 adults in the US. And so when you look at it, you have to recognize there's a distinct difference. First of all, the study is flawed because it mixed components of the movement and the organization. And many of the negative things that came out of Black Lives Matter came from the organization and things they said, things they did, espousing that marriage is a white European construct and that it shouldn't be. And many of those things were taken off of their website because they actually go against what Black people in America support and believe. Family, homes, marriage, all those things. And so it's unfortunate, but when you start to infuse negativity and apply it to the movement, which did some significant things to bring about change in America, but can you equate that to the organization that took money and didn't give a lot of money to any of the organizations that needed support? And so now we live in a place where we have to look at each other and wonder, as crime breaks out in the city, like it does here in Milwaukee, as Black on Black crime is becoming having such a deleterious effect on us, we have to ask ourselves, when you read the news in the morning, do Black lives still matter?
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
This is 1017 The Truth, Dr. Ken Harris, and the time is now, Milwaukee. You know, perspective is essential. What I found is the news behind